Hey, welcome back to Redstone Run, and today we're going to be getting into the Sniffer Farm. This is what the beautiful thing is going to do for you. It's going to get all the Torchflower seeds and the pitcher pods that you need. Infinite amounts, collects it for you. You don't got to do a thing, just be in the area. Bada bing, bada boom. As promised, we're going to have another continuation. Stay tuned for the second part, so how to actually have them automatically planted by the villagers themselves. And that video is coming out next week, but let's get into it first. So as you can see, you could build this whole thing out of any dirt block you want, particularly dirt, grass block, podzol, coarse dirt, rooted dirt, mud, or muddy mangrove roots. Now if you use moss blocks, right, they cut down your birth time for the sniffer eggs by half. Right, so instead of having to wait a whole 20 minutes for them to hatch, you're gonna have to just only wait 10 minutes. Now, when the baby hatches, it takes another 20 minutes for it to grow up into adult. Only the adult ones can sniff out sniffer seeds. And now, each of those adults take about 8 minutes to find a sniffer seed. So, seeing as we have 8 sniffers in here, we get 1 sniffer seed per minute, essentially. And then, as you can see right here, we have the collection system, and we already got 8 and 8 over here while we're just waiting around. Now, next, we got the actual item list. So I'm gonna have them in the description below, and you could look it up. But we got the powered rails over here, right? You're definitely need the power rails, the regular rails. You're gonna need the hoppers and the chests, right? You're gonna need the grass blocks of choice, whichever ones you want. But particularly, you do want at least 2 moss blocks to get your sniffer eggs hatched as soon as possible, right? Now, if you want, you could go ahead and have 16 levers. Well, 14 of those are optional if you just want to go straight with blocks of redstone instead of having to power them from underneath, make your life easier, right? And if you're going to go with those, you have 14 marker blocks to make sure you remember where you put the levers on. Then you have your regular solid blocks, right? And if you want to go ahead and see inside the farm, you get your glass blocks, right? And if you want to have lighting, this is optional. The lighting blocks I use as a roof, and that's how many you would need. But otherwise, you'll always just use torches. Just don't forget that you probably don't want to place them on the ground. I'm not sure if the sniffers sniff on the actual ground, so just put them on your glass walls or your regular walls, depending if you want to see inside. All right, now just remember the most important part of this, right, is you're gonna have to chunk align. So go to chunk base. Find your coordinates, right? Type them in. So, like, see, for example, I have 151 and negative 137, and I know that my coordinates come out of 144, negative 44, right? Over here, negative 144 and 44 would be the corner over here, right? And 159 and negative 129 is another corner over here. So, just so you can see, this farm could be stackable. We're gonna go ahead and build this one right on top of the previous one. We're gonna bring these chunk corners right up. And if you're going to have an industrial district, you're probably going to want to have at least one part chunk aligned. And then from there, you could just chunk align the rest of it fairly easily. Just remember, if you're going to go ahead and chunk align, right, you go ahead, boom, that's the next chunk over. Start counting from this block, right, if you're going to move on to the next chunk. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and grab your regular solid blocks. And you're going to go ahead and make an outline going right from your corner block, right. You're going to want to move one in, break this one, and then start making the outline over here, right? You're gonna go ahead and go in by 6 blocks from this side. Then you're gonna go in by 6 blocks from the other side, inwards over here. And then over here in the middle, because the collection system is very slow, you really don't have to go too extreme with it. We're only gonna go with just 4 hoppers, and you have your regular double chest right in the front as well. Make things easier for ourselves. We're just gonna go ahead and build a little platform right here, but you guys probably gonna have ground. So put the chest right here. Now make sure that you go ahead and crouch when you do this, otherwise you're going to enter the chest. And when you're crouching, so that way your hoppers are pointed straight into the chest, and bam, that's your collection system pretty much done at this stage. Now you're going to want to go ahead and build out all the way up to 8 blocks total, counting your original block. So 7 blocks out, like so. And you're going to want to go ahead and build it right here and fill in this whole area with your solid blocks. You guys love the Sniffer? I don't know. Originally I voted for Rascal, but it kind of grew on me. This thing is just a cutie. The Torchflowers, everyone thought it was going to do something special, but the developers promised originally that they weren't going to do anything special, so I was already ready. That wasn't a letdown for me. I kind of loved it. It was nice. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And put your 14 working blocks here, or you could put redstone blocks if you're using redstone. Yeah. Then you're going to go ahead and start filling in the rest of this outline right in with your regular solid blocks like so, all the way up until your very corner right here diagonally, and bam, we're gonna have a block standing up right here, right? And same thing on this other end, like so. And we can go ahead and grab our lever, our regular rails and power rails at this point. This is going to be very simple. We're going to go ahead and put a power rail right here, put a regular rail like so, and put our switch right here. Bam, flick it on, and that should send our minecart going. Here, don't forget, you're going to go ahead and put a powered rail over here and a regular rail right in between at the very end. Switch, flick it on, bam, just like so. Then we're going to go ahead and power rails like so, all the way down up until this last block right here. Put a regular rail, another regular rail, connect it down, and just continue this pattern all the way up and down. Just don't forget to crouch when you're going to go ahead and go over the hopper until you reach the very beginning, well, the very end, and then you repeat the switch pattern easily. And at this point, remember, if you didn't use Redstone blocks, if you did use Redstone blocks, you're fine. But if you do, you go ahead and put your switch over here, put it all the way down this line that you marked out earlier. Remember, these don't have to be specifically stone blocks. You could use any block you'd like. I just use a stone blocks to make it look simpler for you guys. Bam, and just like that, all of our rails should be on. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and grab a minecart with hopper, and just to double check everything works properly, go ahead and put it down like so. Remember, this has to be a minecart with hopper, not a regular minecart. And bam, it should just go back and forth. As long as these two switches are on, it's going to keep bouncing forth. And remember, it's only picking up 1 seed per minute, so it's this collection system is just simple enough to get you started. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves our grass blocks and our glass blocks, and you're going to place your grass block right above that rail. And you're going to fill it in, everything right above those rails. It should be a 14 by 14 space. Now you're going to want to go ahead and put your glass blocks, and you're going to want to go ahead and start building up a 4 tall layer, and right around your chest, you're going to want to go ahead and leave an opening for your sniffers, just in case you want to bring them in and out, just like so, and put your fence gates there, and you can grab those right now, and just put them in, just so you don't forget, and just go ahead and outline everything up to 4 tall all around as a nice wall to contain our sniffers and make sure they don't run away. Of course, all that hard work, you don't want to start losing them. After this, you're not going to worry about your sniffers getting lost. As long as you have these guys as a backup supply, you're going to be set for life. And remember, you could also use the torch seeds to go ahead and breed yourself up an extra set of sniffers. You get the egg, and bada bing bada boom, easy peasy. All you need is to go ahead and grab your sniffer brush, and just be careful. You go for your warm abandoned ruins in the warm ocean, and try to find the bigger cluster. It'll be much easier. And then you go ahead and be careful when you brush away for the eggs, brush away the suspicious sand. You can find yourself some sniffer eggs. Once you get 2, you bring them in here, and then you go ahead and start up the whole process, and you'll be ready to go. And finally, you're going to want to go ahead and fill this in with some sort of roof tile. If you're not going to go and use light blocks like I am, feel free to put the torches on the side. But I'm going to go ahead and opt with the pumpkin blocks because they're the easiest ones to get in early game. All you need is some carved pumpkins, get some shears, and put a torch right inside of it, and it becomes a full block. Nothing can escape, and just all your problems are gone. You don't have to worry about lighting. No mobs will spawn and ever bother your sniffers ever again. And just like that, you want to go ahead and grab your sniffer eggs. Now I typically put my moss blocks right in the middle, just so I can go ahead and remember where they are. Bam, just put them right there, and put your sniffer eggs right on top. And then that should take right about 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, those guys should pop out, and we're going to wait another 20 minutes, and they can be adults. And after that, you're going to go ahead and breed them up. You're going to want about 8 of them, right? No more than 8, because then those guys need to go and for some reason they remember 30 blocks that they have sniffed around. So if you get them too cluttered in here, they're not going to be able to move around and go sniff around more than 30 blocks to go find a different area, right? Because once they've searched these 4 blocks around here and then they're stuck, they can't get to that spot over here and find your new seeds. So the whole thing is not going to work. So I would say max, try to keep it around 8 into this spot. You could always stack them up and build up further. If you're not worried about them crossing chunk borders and possibly despawning, you could always just build up as much as possible towards this side or towards this side and set up the same rail system. Just don't forget, you have to have your simulation distance set. Hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next week. We're going to go ahead and make this thing automated and get the whole thing collected for you and the whole shebang. You don't got to do a single thing. Bada bing, bada boom. That's been it for Redstone Run. Peace.